Hi everyone, it's David Wheeler at Wycombe Wanderers and you're listening to the Wycombe Wanderers Show.
Welcome to the latest... Oh, it's me now. Welcome to the latest edition of the Wycombe Wanderers Show. I thought there was going to be more. There wasn't. Just that. I hope you're doing well, and lots to bring you in the next hour, including manager Matt Bloomfield. We'll hear from Amy from the club as well. Amy from the club. Sounds like some sort of dance thing. On a brilliant new initiative to paint the town blue. Is that what it's called? Yes. No. Sort of. Where you can create a brilliant atmosphere in and around the town in the build-up to the close season. We're coming into the final 4 home games, of course. The 5th final home game was a... straight around the houses way of doing this, isn't it? It was a defeat to Barnsley, of course. We'll reflect on that with Phil in just a moment. So we'll hear from the manager as well. We'll catch up with Tjay De Barr, who this afternoon has had it confirmed that he's able to play for the club this Saturday after... choosing to stay rather than go on international duty for Gibraltar. We'll hear as well the second episode, the premiere, can we call it that? I think so, yes. Premiere of Knowing Me, Knowing Blues with Jack Grimmer. Very much looking forward to hearing that, although arguably I've heard it already, because I was present for the recording, which I very much enjoyed as well. Plus we'll be catching up with Vince Faulkner from the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association, who's down at the Warm Hub at Adams Park. Lots to discuss with him, not least the quiz, which is coming up this Saturday, which is always hotly competed. Again, well, that's the word, thank you. Contended, thank you. That was the word I was trying to think of, but it left me. That's coming up on the day as well that the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association surprised Matt Bloomfield with the presentation of his lifetime membership, which was awarded and collected on his behalf by Richard Dobson in November at their annual dinner. But of course, Matt Bloomfield was in charge of Colchester at the time. How inconvenient. So he's got that, and also a tie was presented to him at the training ground today, which he was most surprised by. So yes, lots to bring you in the first hour of the Wycombe Wanderers Show. First though, let's kick off with our match debrief from Phil, who we spoke to a little earlier on today, looking back at that result against Barnsley, and obviously the result not what we wanted, but the performance not too bad.
Really great performance, especially when you look at what Barnsley did in the week, taking on Sheffield Wednesday. I don't think they lost for 23 games, and they beat them 4-2. So, again, it's frustrating because Wycombe really should have beaten Barnsley on that performance and didn't. And then we see what they did to the top of the table, or was then top of the table, Sheffield Wednesday. So yeah, frustration. But I think it shows you what an amazing Division League One is. And Wycombe, where they are amongst these teams, really well placed with 9 to go still. But yeah, it would have been lovely to beat them, wouldn't it? But yeah, such is life. We've had some good days at Adams Park recently. Wasn't to be on Saturday. And chatting to Matt Bloomfield afterwards, something that I'm still getting used to, because he really feels the defeats, which you can hear when I speak to him after the game.
I thought we were very good first half, especially. I think was probably the best we've played since we've been here, or I've been back. So we've got to be really proud of the performance. Performance is a lot of a contributing factor towards the result, but you have to make sure you see the game out, take your chances when they fall, and keep the back door locked the other side. So we're obviously really, really disappointed not to take anything from the game, because I was proud of the way the boys played.
The subs made a big difference for Barnsley. It didn't look like they made an impact immediately, but 2 subs combining for the goal in that smash and grab header.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's a good point. I think it showed the way they had to make so many changes, that how dominant we were, especially in the first half. Like I say, and then they had a chance at the start of the second half, but then I thought we grew back into it and weathered that little bit, and we had 12 corners. It felt like we were knocking on the door all afternoon, but it just didn't quite go in for us, which is obviously disappointing, and their subs combined there at the end. But yeah, we've got to make sure that we see the game out like that. But I don't want to focus on the negatives today. I don't think it's that day, Phil. I think it's a day to take our medicine, understand that we need to do better in those moments, but also we need to focus on the positives, because there's plenty of them that came today.
It's been a testing week as well, hasn't it? Obviously the schedule's been fairly testing, but on top of that there's been some illness around. Yeah,
it's been we've been carrying some illness in the camp. We missed Dave and Nick on Tuesday evening, and then we had to close the training ground down on Thursday because there was some more circulating. So it's certainly been a testing time. There's been plenty of challenges. There's no excuses. I think the proof is in the pudding, in the performance, and the boys reacted and they went again today. But there's been plenty of challenges along the way. We have to try and do the best we can by the boys. We can't be bringing them into the training ground if there's illness flying around. we turned up today, and I thought the energy levels were very good.
Another positive is everyone's always said Wycombe are so adaptable, and you wouldn't have known to see that performance today that there'd been a testing illness week.
No, I think it's really important that I've said to the boys, this doesn't define us. One defeat doesn't define us. There was nothing to be guaranteed from a win today, and there's certainly nothing guaranteed from a defeat. It's just every game in isolation. Michael Duff's done an incredible job at Barnsley. I think they're a very, very good team. But we've gone toe to toe and raised, and some more today. So we have to be proud of that. We know we've got some good players, Phil. We know, we've been performing quite well recently, and we've been pleased with that. But we need to make sure we turn them into results as well, because that's what we get judged on.
Real positive as well to see Ryan Tafazoli not only in the squad but back on the pitch at the end there as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think it is a big positive. Taf's obviously missed quite a bit of time with his hamstring injury, so it's nice to have him back. Wills and Nick getting them back on the pitch as well is important to try and carry a competitive squad at this stage of the season. So, and obviously with Tjay, I thought for a young boy to come into the team the way he's performed these last two games, it's a big positive as well for us. So it's nice to have Tav back, and we've got to keep making sure we move forward.
Is he the next one on this production line now in the development squad?
I don't want to add too much expectation and pressure on his shoulders. He's a really mature lad for his age. He's been playing international football for a few years, and he knows what the game's all about. We know we've had high hopes for him for a good little while now, and he showed a lot of promise in these last couple of games. But I'm loath to making too many big statements about him. He's got to keep working hard, keep taking the opportunities when they arise, and if he does that, then we think we've got a good player on our hands.
And he talks about the sort of the fine margins as well. It's kind of little moments, isn't it, in games which really provide the difference.
That was Saturday in a nutshell, and we've all seen Wycombe do this down the years where we've been outplayed or had to defend and then nick a goal and see it out and win it 1-0. But when it happens to you, it just really hurts, doesn't it? But it's football. But I'm sure they'd have taken the positives from it this week. A clear week, no midweek fixture. The illnesses have cleared up. So the injury room hopefully looking slightly less busy. I'm thinking the positives out of the game, and this week hopefully we'll see the fruits of that at the Valley on Saturday. Another game against a team that has recent Premier League history, so huge game for Wycombe in terms of where they are in the table. Not so much for Charlton, who are sort of stuck in mid-table. They're not going to get relegated. It'd be a miracle if they get in the playoffs. So I think that in itself is worth celebrating, because I think this is going to be the worst run in Charlton's history at this level, because if they're in League One next season, that's their fourth year down there in a row, which is the worst in their history. So it's worth bearing that in context of the relative histories of the two clubs where we're at. Wycombe are going into the Valley hoping to be in the playoffs.
Because it feels like, doesn't it, the teams coming up next, they've all got their different kind of parts of the table and sort of things to play for, really.
Yes, that time of year, isn't it, where the teams down the bottom, they're no longer the teams that they were 2-3 months ago, because all of a sudden, you expect them to be fighting for their lives. Accrington quite literally, with the amount of red cards they've been having recently. But yeah, we've got some of those coming up as well. MK Dons had an absolutely abysmal season, and they're fighting to not get relegated. We've got them as next home game, so maybe it'll be a different team than the one that we saw at the start of the season, which should be, but for MK Dons fans' sakes. But yeah, these are tough games, and we've got Morecambe away as well to come. That's always tricky. This is a time of year where there's no dead rubbers anyway in League One, but it adds a completely different dimension to it.
And they all seem to be really good games as well. And recently, plenty for the fans to enjoy, both home and away.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm struggling to think really of an end of season, especially since I've been a reporter or work for the club, where nothing's happened at the end of the season. There's none of this sort of, we're 13th, 12th, 13th in the table, we're already looking ahead to next season. There's none of that at Wycombe. There's always something on it, which is how it should be. As a fan, that's why you pay the money. You want the excitement, all the other bits, and it can't happen every single season, but at Wycombe it seems to in recent times.
And what always seems to be the case as well is many different players have different stories. We've heard about TJ's as well.
Yeah, this club throws up wonderful narratives, and I feel for the lad, because he's so passionate about his heritage and where he comes from, and he's been a regular in the Gibraltarian side, and this was a massive decision for him, and I really hope that the fans there and the coach understand his journey with Wycombe Wanderers, because he's had to be incredibly patient for his chance because of injury and because of the stature of this club and where he's at in his career. He's had to work amazingly hard for this opportunity, but I think it speaks volumes about his recent performances that Wycombe fans are over the moon that he's available for Saturday with no Sam Vokes, or Sam Vokes struggling with injury. He's a hugely important player for Wycombe Wanderers, and it's a massive opportunity for him. And I think Gibraltar will probably benefit in the long run from this decision, because if he becomes an established EFL player for Wycombe Wanderers, then that's only a good thing for his country. So maybe some short-term pain for them for long-term gain, and hopefully some both long-term and short-term gain for Wycombe Wanderers.
Really encouraging for fans to see Ryan Tafazoli on his way back as well.
Always great to see Taff on the pitch. I think he's a Rolls Royce of a defender in League One, at both ends of the pitch. So yeah, I think, and he's a great character as well, and especially at this stage of the season, he's a winner. And yeah, it's great to have him back in the matchday squad, and be interested to see the impact he has between now and May.
Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure.
Great to chat to you, Phil, on the sofa at the training ground. More sofa chat to come later this hour, including right now, in fact, because, as you might have heard in our chat with Phil, don't forget as well, by the way, but you can hear the full extended version of that post-match interview with the manager, Matt Bloomfield, after the defeat to Barnsley on Wanderers TV. But Tjay De Barr has expressed his wish to remain at his club. The Gibraltar FA announced during the international window, and is not going to be available for the men's national team squad for the opening 2 Euro 2024 qualifiers against Greece and the Netherlands. Quite a difficult decision, of course, for the Wycombe Wanderers player, and today Matt Bloomfield confirmed that permission has been granted for him to withdraw from the Gibraltar squad in order to be available for the Chairboys, and they did get the written confirmation for that, and they're very pleased indeed to get it, and we were fortunate enough to speak to TJ a little about that as well, and obviously with recent injuries and struggles, and how he's breaking into the team right now.
It's been a tough one, obviously, to pull out of the international games upcoming. Very tough decision for myself, but I do feel like it's the right one. I also know that I have the right backing around me, so my family, my friends, they all do believe that I've made the right decision. And obviously, like I've said, I apologise to everyone back home, but I do feel like it's the right decision, so I'm looking forward to the next couple of games with Wycombe.
And Wycombe fans will be really pleased with your choice as well.
Yeah, I hope so. To be fair, I'm sticking around. Obviously, I'm focused on one thing and one thing only, so I'm just full on focused on that, and I'm looking forward to the next couple of weeks.
So does it feel in a way that your kind of hard work is really paying off at the moment?
Yeah, 100%. I do feel that. I feel like I've been working hard. I'm that sort of person that I just work hard for everything, and I do feel like I've been doing it for so long when everything's been going against me, sort of, and now I do feel like bit by bit it's all helping me out in some sort of sense, and everything is starting to go my way, and not entirely my way, because I do know I can do much more, but I do feel like I'm not having the same bad luck that I've been having for a long time.
Have the injuries helped in a way, just sort of making you stronger, both sort of mentally as well as physically, hopefully?
I'd say that I'm mentally strong anyway, because I'd say that I'm a mentally strong person, so I wouldn't say that the injuries have completely changed me as a person, because I've always been that same person. So in some sort of way they've maybe changed me as a player, and I used to analyse loads, like, why am I getting injured, what can I do better, how can I stay fitter for longer, and all these kind of things. But I wouldn't say that it's completely changed me as a person or my mentality. It's always been the same. So
you must be really enjoying your running the team, and obviously your contributions as well.
Yeah, 100%. It's the thing I'm enjoying most. Thing I've been looking forward to since I arrived at the club 20 months ago. So I'm just focused on being a better teammate, being a better player, and, like I said, hopefully getting the team into the playoffs.
And it feels like such a key part of the season to be involved in as well.
Yeah, 100%. I did say for myself and for the club it's the best timing, but unfortunately the national team have had to suffer from it, and I'm really sorry to everyone back home, but I do feel like I've made the right decision. So I am happy some sort of way that my time in the team is coming now, the last couple of games of the season. So yeah, I wouldn't want to be put in the position ever again to have to choose, because, like I've said, it's one of the toughest footballing decisions I've had to choose, and I would never like to put anything above my country. But like I've said, I've been waiting for so long for this opportunity. I've worked so hard for this opportunity, and right now I can't afford to turn it down.
Pleasure to catch up with Tjay De Barr at the training ground, and obviously wish him all the best with these upcoming games, and hopefully he'll go from strength to strength after a difficult period with injuries, and of course not least that incident at Plymouth in December, and we wish him all the best for the coming and remaining fixtures, and hope that he'll be back on international duty very, very soon. Still to come, we'll be chatting to Vince Faulkner from Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association, live from the Warm Hub at Adams Park very, very soon as well, and lots more to come, including more from manager Matt Bloomfield here at Wycombe Sound.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
Second part of the Wycombe Wanderers Show for this week. As mentioned, still to come, we'll find out about a brilliant initiative from the club who are giving you the opportunity to really celebrate and create a great atmosphere in and around the town for the final 4 home games of the season. We mentioned as well a little earlier on that the Ex-Players Association had a presence at the training ground a little earlier on with John Bignell, Chairman Alan Hutchinson, and JDT was there as well to present Matt Bloomfield with his lifetime membership to the Ex-Players Association, therefore saving him some money. But also, I'm very pleased to say we can chat to Vince Faulkner, who is at the Warm Hub at Adams Park. A very good evening to you, sir.
Yeah, hi, good evening to you. How are you?
Really good, thanking yourself.
Yeah, I'm fine, actually. Yeah, we've down at the Hub, we've continued on with a lovely sort of week that we've had down here again. We've got 2 more sessions to go, so yeah, it's all good, thank you.
There must be a really great sort of sense of pride for the Ex-Players Association to play such a great part in this initiative.
Well, it is, because, as you know, initially it started with 2 months. It was extended very kindly through the council and Dreams, and, of course, Wycombe itself, and the foundation getting it all together, extended for another month, which, unfortunately, and I know everybody that's in the room, so we've got 38 people here tonight, they're all a little bit upset that it finishes next week, but we're going to try and do something later on in the year. But, no, it's all gone very well, thank you.
And what's some of the reaction you've had from people who've attended?
Well, it's unbelievable, really. We've got people here that have never met one another, and you probably can't hear the background noises here, but they come here the hour before we have dinner. They sit down, they play cards, they have a chat, and then we have dinner, and then they do the same again. And it's really, really taken off, and it's done what everybody wanted it to do, which was to gel the local community and get people out. So it's worth a treat.
And so many people with so many different stories. I know, for example, when we came and did the show from there was a gentleman who just came along on his own and hadn't been to the football club before, but really took advantage of the opportunity.
No, that's right. Well, there's a lady here, when I was telling tales at school, she lost her husband a year ago. Her son told her to come down. He'd seen it advertised 3 months ago. Didn't want to come out. He sort of pressured her. She came in, and she's the first person here every night now. So, it's really worth a treat.
And really nice for yourself and Keith and some of the other ex-players who've been along as well to really sort of mingle and tell your own stories as well.
Yeah, that's right. Well, there's Keith Samuels who's been a great support to me down here as well. Barry Baker's been down here, Len Worley. We had John Maskell down last week. And, of course, Trevor Stroud is on the main board here at Wycombe. He comes literally every evening as well. And, rolls his shirt, sleeves up, and he does the tea and the coffees and everything else. So, yeah, it's been an all-in Wycombe Wanderers family evening out. It's been brilliant.
Well, I don't suppose really it's surprised you how successful it's been, especially with how important the community is to the club.
Well, no. I mean, it's hit the nail on the head. The brief has been to get new people in here, people that weren't official football people. They've come down here in their droves. As I said, we've got 38 people here tonight. I would think probably only 1/3 of them actually have ever seen Wycombe play. They come down for the evening out, and we're trying to convert them into Wycombe fans. So it's all worked out well.
No, absolutely. A really successful initiative. Great for the foundation, as you say, the council and Dreams as well, and the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association to be a part of. Talking of popular events, there's something coming on this Saturday, which I know you're heavily involved in, and as we mentioned earlier,
right, again,
hotly contested.
Yeah, we've got our quiz. We've got our quiz this week, which is the WWEPA quiz. It's the 13th running, although we lost 2 years to COVID, so it's 11 years in actual fruition. We've got 4 teams that have won it previously coming back, and between those 4 teams that have won it, they've won it 8 times in total, so you can see that it's very, very competitive. We have a 1-course meal, and we start at 7:30. Everybody has a great evening. John Maskell is my colleague in organising the event. His son-in-law is the quiz master, and it's a brilliant evening. Although I say it myself, but it does really work out well.
So if anyone's listening who's coming along, are there any particular subjects they should be revising for?
Well, there's everything. It's the usual. There's history, there's geography, there's sport, there's music. We have some picture rounds as well. So, no, it's a cross-section. John Maskell looks after all of that side of it. I do the sort of organising, getting people here and the eventing, and John does all the questions and putting it all together for us. So it's brilliant. It works. It's worked really well for the last, well, as I say, 13 years, but 11th actually.
And again, another really fantastic event from a social point of view as well.
Well, absolutely right. This year we've got 16 tables and just over 130 people coming. And all the funds raised, as I think we've said before, all go to the charity. And I'm pleased to say that this year the charity is prostate cancer. So over the last, as I said, 13 years, we've raised nigh on £50,000, and all of it has been donated to all charities all around. So we have a cross-section every year. We have a committee meeting in February of the year, and then we pick the charity for the year, and that goes through the 4 events that we hold.
It's a real great example and advert to what the Expo Association is all about as well, really sort of giving back. Well,
it's right. As I said, I think the last time I was on, I'm proud, and I know Keith is as well. We're proud to be part of this Wycombe family. I've been involved with it. I started in 1963, and I'm still here sort of now, other than I did go away for a couple of years down at other clubs, as we said before. But, I'm back in the network, getting heavily involved, and it's a tremendous part to be part of it.
And great to be able to work alongside, other sort of parts of the club, especially the foundation. And brilliant to hear recently about Reardo's Ramble as well. Another great opportunity to raise funds.
Well, that's right. Also... That is on the 15th of July. I've found some information out with that tonight. There's a lot more things to put together, but technically at this moment in time, it will start and finish at Adams Park. It will be, you can either do a half or a full marathon, and it will consist of 2 journeys around Wycombe from Adams Park, finishing up 13 miles and going back out again if you wish. So that is on the 15th of July. So just watch out for things that will come out through the foundation on the website.
And again, a really nice tribute to someone who gave so much to the club.
Well, it's Mr. Wycombe as well, along with Brian Lee, wasn't he? They were two men that are this club basically at the end of the day, which we all aspire and look up to.
And something else which really stands out that I know you're heavily involved with is the match day tours as well. And...
That's right, yeah. Keith and I and John Bignell and his son Darren, we've started over the last, it will be the last 6 home games doing the spectators tours around the pitch. Again, that's really interesting because normally when people come down here, they come down perhaps with their families, they come into the ground exterior, they go and have a pie, they have perhaps a drink, coffee or a pint. They watch the game, they go home. This way we're taking them into the heart of the club. They go into the dressing room, they go and see the fitness room, they walk up the players' tunnel, they go round the ground, they go over to all the executive boxes over the other side. We go down into the Woodland Suite, we then walk round the other end of the pitch, finishing back up in the main boardroom where they get a 10-minute video of the club's history, which Phil Catchpole put together. So, very good.
It's a great opportunity, isn't it, to really enhance your match day experience and to get some behind-the-scenes info as well, just to really, get an even greater appreciation of the club.
No, that's right. It's really good for us as well because we take people around. We had the first one, there were 9 people here. It was a family of total adults. And then the other family were a husband, wife, and 3 young children, 13, 11, and I think about 9. And the children were absolutely just gobsmacked with everything that went on. They found it totally interesting. They sat there, they watched the video with total interest, and it was a pleasure to take them round.
And you must get some quite interesting questions as well.
1 or 2. Some we can answer, some we don't.
Perhaps some not appropriate for the radio either.
No, probably right.
But we talked as well about the presentation which was made to the manager today, and a fantastic achievement, obviously, to have been at the club, so many appearances, and obviously you mentioned with John Maskell and Tony Horseman, people like that who've been at the club a long time as well.
Well, that's right. I mean, my biggest sort of claim is that fortunately I was the first selection, or one of the first selection that Brian Lee did in his first team when he was made manager back in December in '68. The team that day, when there was all the subs and everything else, was John Maskell, Ian Rundle, myself, Charlie Gale, Julian Laley, Dave Thomas, Barry Baker, Len Worley, Keith Samuels, Tony Horseman and Les Merrick. You know, a lot of those people I'm still with play golf for twice a week. You know, we're talking 50 years on. So, no, it's an absolute pleasure. I keep saying it's an absolute pleasure to be associated with this football club.
And I know we mentioned to you before as well, but like when you were starting out, you could have never have imagined that, you know, still, as you say, all these years later, you'd still be, you know, doing what you do with the club.
No, that's right. Well, it's the camaraderie, and as I think I used the word earlier, everybody around it uses it. It's a family, and it is a family. It's just one big family. There are no hidden agendas. There are no people who think they're bigger than this club and various other bits and pieces. And basically, when you look back, that's down to Brian Lee, because, as you know, when he became the first sort of official manager at Wycombe Wanderers, he instilled discipline and a dress sense and a code. And, you know, you couldn't be swayed from it. If you didn't conform to it, then, you know, you paid the penalty.
No, absolutely. And another sort of commemoration event, Phil did an interview, which you can see on Wanderers TV, with the chairman of the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association, Alan Hutchinson, approaching his 80th birthday. And obviously,
that's right, yeah. I believe he's 80 on I think it's the 13th of next month. So he's been involved with the club for, you know, forever, and you know, he deserves all the credit that he gets. Basically, he set it all up sort of some 15 years ago, and he's still going strong as the chairman, and you know, ably supported by JDT and the committee. You know, he does a fantastic job.
Incredible how just the Ex-Players Association alone has grown in that time as well.
Well, that's right. Yeah, I mean, so we've got, well, as you know, on the treasury at the moment, and we've got over 100 people on the list. And, you know, we do 4 functions a year. You know, we start off with the quiz, as we said, then we've got our bowls day, then we've got our golf day, then we have our big annual dinner in November. And all of those proceeds, as we mentioned before, all go to charity. So, you know, it's a worthwhile venture.
And you do so much around the club and the training ground as well.
Sorry?
You do so much around the club and the training ground as well.
Well, yeah, we do, yeah. Keith and I, we've been up to the training ground before and done presentation, you know, took goalposts and nets, especially when Gareth was here, and they were lacking a bit of funding up there for goalposts and everything, so the ex-players purchased those, and we went up and did a presentation and all those sorts of things. So, no, it's an all-inclusive, you know, there's not a them or on us, it's all coming together now, and it's brilliant.
And such a great opportunity, as you said before, for people from all sorts of generations of the club to share their similar experiences as well.
Well, that's right. You know, as I said, there are people in this room that, you know, the people that have supported Wycombe over the years sort of recognise Keith and myself and that, and they've seen a couple of pictures up in Montes here where we do the warm-up from. So, you know, they take the mickey out of the colour of our hair and everything else that slightly changed over the period. But,
well, I'm sure they're black and white photos, so it's not too different.
Sorry?
I'm sure they're black and white photos, so it's not too different.
Well, they probably are, yeah. Probably helps now.
No, absolutely. And really nice to sort of pass that on as well. And also, because, you know, people will know the name Vince Faulkner, but, you know, won't actually have the chance to actually speak to you and you know, hear your stories as well.
Well, that's right, yeah. It's nice, yeah. I think they do get a little bit bored when I won't get up from the table, because I have been known to talk a little bit, so I think a lot of people will support that. But, no, it's been really interesting. And you hear their side of the stories. You know, there's people from all walks of life. People have been in the RAF and been in the war and done all these sorts of things. So, you know, you get down and you sit and chat, and no, it's really worthwhile, really good.
And I'm sure, you know, when you were playing for the club, you never imagined that people watching, you know, they'll remember that as their first game, perhaps, or, you know, something that you or your teammates did would really stand out for them for a long time as well.
No, that's right. I mean, say, you know, there are 6 of us who still, as I keep saying, they play golf together. We play twice a week. 6 of us that play in the 60s and the 70s. You know, there's not many clubs can vouch for those sorts of things. So it's a pleasure to be part of.
And now it's really nice, isn't it, to see, obviously, Matt Bloomfield was at the club for such a long period as a player, and now hopefully he'll have a long spell in charge as well.
Well, that's absolutely right, yeah. I mean, so, you went through it earlier. I mean, he did 19 years service here, and he made 664 appearances with 55 goals, the 4th all-time person behind Tony Horseman, who I played with, John Maskell, who I played with, and Dave Carroll. So, you know, he's 4th behind those 3 icons, really. So, you know, and they're all still going strong.
Because you can't, I'm not sure if it does happen, but you can't imagine that happening at too many clubs either.
Absolutely not. Well, it proves it by the Ex-Players Association. I think we're probably the biggest club in the country that, you know, has got as many members, and we're all still social. And, you know, a lot of it, to be fair, comes down to JDT, the way he organises the dinner, and he keeps everybody involved with the monthly newsletters. So all credit to him. He's been a great asset to the association, and no, he did a brilliant job, as you probably know, with the the Brian Lee tribute that we did down here last Thursday. I'm sitting looking at the celebration of life that John put together. 24 pages of a history of basically again Mr. Wickham who was constructed in building Adams Park. So it's all credit to JDT, and I'd like to put that on record on the radio. So well done to him.
No, absolutely, and a real sense of community, because we've spoken to ex-players who are even in other parts of the world, and they really look forward to the newsletters or seeing on the Facebook page what's going on.
Well, that's right. I mean, so the Welsh international Jeff Anthony was on to both JDT and myself last week. He wanted to know an update on Paul Birdseye, because unfortunately he'd had a fall and this, that and the other. And, the guy lives in America. And, he sent an email over inquiring, wanting to know this, that and the other. And he said he's going to come over for this year's dinner as well. So it'd be lovely to re-see him again as well.
When there are so many great things that you do in the community, both sort of supporting each other, if another former ex-player needs help, or I know in the past, Keith and others have supported with hospital equipment and things like that.
Well, that's right. Yeah, well, we're talking as well. We're going to do a welfare visit to Johnny Hutchinson, who's in a home over the Oxford way that John Maskell's organising. So that will be coming up shortly as well. So we've got all the details of who we've got to contact, and we're going to be going over to see him shortly as well. So
remind us again of your calendar of events, some of the things you've got coming up for the remainder of the year.
Well, we've got the 4 events for the year. We've got the quiz event, which is this Saturday. Then we've got the bowls, which is in June. Obviously, there may be a slight adjustment here that people don't know about. The golf day that we normally have at Winter Hill has been cancelled this year due, unfortunately, to it being sponsored by John Lewis. They've pulled the plug on them, and that finishes in April. But Ken Wilson has managed to get the event reorganised on the 18th of July, which is a Tuesday, at Maidenhead Golf Club. So that's news hot off the press today. So that will be coming out shortly, I'm sure, in a newsletter from JDT to confirm that. And then, of course, we have our November dinner, which, again, John and Alan Hutchinson put together. And, we get all the dignitaries in, and we have a brilliant night as usual.
Absolutely, you can't sort of over-stress how important these events are, especially the golf days and and the quizzes, of course. Are quite competitive, obviously, because they're all competitors, but
very competitive.
A really nice way to kind of all get together as well.
No, that's absolutely right. And as I say, the main function is that we raise money for charities. We've done the air ambulance, we've done twice, we've done cancer, we're doing prostate cancer this next year, as we've said. We've done hearing dogs with a deaf up at Risborough. We've done kidneys. We've done everything. So we've done a real cross section. As I said, I think earlier, we've got it just in under £50,000. So we try and do our bit.
Oh, it's a fantastic organisation, and just to finally just sort of sum up, especially with the Warm Hub that you've been involved with as well, and it just goes to show how important the club is to the community.
Well, that's absolutely right, and I'd like to thank praise Mark Gaskell and his team as well, because they've done a tremendous job in putting all this together. As I said, Keith Samuels and myself have been perhaps the front runners from the Ex-Players Association, but we've been well supported by JDT and John Bignell, Dave Baker, Len Worley, John Maskell. So everybody's done their bit, and it's been a real pleasure. And it'll be disappointing come this time next week on Thursday when we shut the door at 8 o'clock and it'll be no more for a couple of months.
No, of course, but some brilliant other initiatives and, say, collaborations with the foundation. You've got the Reardon Room and the Rio Ramble as well.
That's right. Absolutely right. So, everything's looking forward to 2023.
Well, it's been a real pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for your service and cooperation as well.
No, that's not a problem at all. It's been a pleasure, and as I say, it's given me a great interest, and it's lovely. Thank you very much for phoning, and I look forward to talking to you again.
A real pleasure, likewise. Thank you so much for your time. Vince Fulton was speaking to us from the Warm Hub. I think it's the Live Hub. No, he was live. From the Warm Hub, which, as I say, unfortunately finishes next week, but initially only due to run till February. So fantastic that it's been able to run through to March. So many people have got so much out of it as well, from a social aspect and just having somewhere a bit different to go on a Tuesday and Thursday evening. And do check out the Wycombe Wanderers Foundation's website for more details of upcoming events as well.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
Still to come on this week's edition of the Wycombe Wanderers Show, we'll bring you an update from Wycombe Wanderers Women. We'll hear from the men's manager, Matt Bloomfield, talking all things, to be honest. And we'll get a premiere of a bit of an insight into the second edition of Knowing Me, Knowing Blues, which... timings, everything, which is this week from. Well, we've already said who it's from, but let's
2 weeks ago.
Let's exclusively reveal. People might have forgotten.
They might have. That's true. It's Jack Gribber.
Thank you very
Scotland's
much.
finest.
Producer Luke is with us. We've got all sorts of things to bring you still, but we were at the training ground a little earlier on, weren't we?
We were, and it was raining, which, as I said earlier, I think we can blame on Rebecca, or maybe Matt, or I should say the gaffer, because since Rebecca's been with us on a Thursday, it's rained. Since Matt's taken over, it's rained on a Thursday as well.
Yes, very inclement Thursday weather.
Yeah, maybe it's just afternoon on a Thursday at the training. We've never been on there in the afternoon on a Thursday.
I wonder if we know the clocks go forward, don't we?
Yes.
This weekend. I wonder if that'll have an impact.
The rain
Welcome
will be
to
later.
the meteorological section of
Welcome, enjoy.
the Wycombe Wanderers Show. This is brand new for hopefully this week only.
Just this week.
More from Jack Graham in a few moments' time with some fantastic answers to some, quite frankly, random questions.
Very rare. You've done very well with questions this week. Well done.
More on that in a few moments' time. But first, also at the training ground, we caught up with Amy from the club to chat through a brilliant initiative which will get you, hopefully, painting the town blue for the final 4 home games.
The first aim is to raise the visibility of the club in town, looking to get more first-time fans involved, raising the atmosphere of the club at Adams Park and backing the boys in the final 4 games of the season.
And who would you like to see involved?
Anyone from school children to businesses going out to do it themselves, football supporters, doesn't just have to be football supporters, just anyone in the community that's looking for a fun day out and wants to get involved.
And we've seen with the club getting to Wembley before and how they have balloons in shops and really sort of decorated their windows, how it's a great atmosphere in the town when they get behind the team. Yeah,
that is what we mean by paint the town blue. Walking into Wycombe, not just Wycombe, but anywhere in Buckinghamshire, seeing those blue posters, just seeing and recognising that Wycombe is here and we're looking for that push for a promotion, and it's time for you to get down to support the Chairboys.
And really nice as well, that sort of final 4 and just outside the playoffs at the moment too.
Yes, it is very close. So packing that stadium is what we want, and just getting behind the boys to help them get to the playoffs.
And of course you had their family day recently as well. I think many people would have come along to that, and perhaps that might have been their first time at a game, and one of these last 4 games could be their first game too.
Yeah, definitely. We saw many first-time fans at Family Day this year, last year, and we've seen some new faces that have started coming to games more regularly, and it's good to see. It's just the big community vibe, and the atmosphere that it creates is just great. And seeing those familiar faces that are first-time fans is great to see in the stands and around Adams Park before a match day.
So how can supporters get their hands on the posters?
So you can come down to the club shop to collect the posters, or you can email marketing@wwfc.com, and we will send you over a digital copy, whether that's PDF or an image.
And there's an incentive as well for fans to get involved, and also businesses will be displaying the posters too.
Yes, so fans will receive a spot prize. What they need to do is, if they put the poster up in businesses, that can be cafes, gyms, shops, pubs, bars, they display it in the business, and all they need to do is make sure they check with the business first if they can display it, and then send that into marketing@wwfc.com with their name and the name of the business, and they can win a prize, and the ultimate prize is for the business, and they will have 2 players and the Wanderers TV crew arriving at their venue to film a creative TV advert for their business. So that's an incredible prize, and hopefully fans will love to get involved.
And obviously ultimately it'd be really nice to see as many posters as possible in and around town.
Yeah, let's make Buckinghamshire blue.
It's a great catchphrase, isn't it? You've got to have a catchphrase.
Yeah, you have, but don't actually use paint.
No. I failed to mention in the actual introduction that it's posters.
Posters.
Please don't paint the town blue. I mean, there are some benches, aren't there?
They are there, light blue and dark blue. Maybe we should. If anyone from Bidco is listening, let's light up Wycombe because they did it for Wembley, didn't they? Let's relight Wycombe in blue for the final 4 games, and the West Wycombe as well.
No, absolutely. Yeah. That would be a good shout.
Thank you. If you want more details, wwfc.com.
And those final 4 are home to MK Dons on Saturday the 1st of April.
Correct.
April Fool. And then on Monday, the 10th of April.
Yeah.
That's Easter Monday, isn't it?
It is.
Forest Green Rovers are coming.
Yep.
And then the final home games of the season see the visit of Lincoln City and Cheltenham Town.
Well done.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. That's why I said you're welcome, but well done.
No, it was nice. It worked well. Also, we're going to talk a bit about Wycombe Wanderers women as well, who the first team their season has finished in both League Cup and League, and Cup.
Yeah, they have, but there is two things that I would like to mention. Wycombe Wanderers women have launched a short survey to help drive the club forward. We've just shared that on to our social media, which is at Wycombe Sound. You have until Friday the 31st of March at 5 o'clock to get that in. And they are also hosting some open training sessions starting in April for the 23-24 season. So if you want to find out more details about that, we've again just shared that, but they are WWFC Women on Twitter and now are verified with the Wycombe Wanderers tick.
Very nice too.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and I think the first team manager, Carl, is looking to arrange some friendlies up until around May time as well. Yes. For the remainder of the season, and obviously wish the best to the reserves and under-18s for the remainder of their campaign as well. And over to you now to talk about the success of Knowing Me, Knowing Blues.
Well, I don't think it's anything to do with me. I think it's all down to Rebecca being just very talented, which is quite annoying. However, this week it is Jack Grimmer who is the star of the show. Here is a little preview of this week's episode.
Jack, hello. How are you?
I'm very well.
Thank you for joining me. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Did you see the last episode of Knowing Me, Knowing Blues?
I did. I think you chose a very capable and a good choice for the first
yeah, you did the job
episode.
for me, really, didn't it?
It's a tough act to follow. Yeah, it is, but
you'll be fine. But you know how it's going to go.
Yes.
So the questions have been flying in. We've got quite a few here. Are you ready? Should we jump into it?
Yeah, I dread to think what some of these are, but yeah, hopefully some good ones.
There are some good ones, actually. I've read through them. First, we've got from WWFC Mexico. I don't know if that's supposed to be Mexico, but it says Mexico, so we're going to go with that. Having played superbly as a centre-back for many games now, do you feel more comfortable in that position or as a right-back?
Yeah, I think I'd played there a few times before this season, and then this season I think due to injury I found myself playing there quite often. It is a position I feel quite comfortable in, but I think I do still enjoy what I would see as my favourite position as right back. But I think it's a cliche thing for footballers to say, if they're playing then who cares, so if we're playing and we're winning, not really that fussed.
Just happy to be on the pitch.
Happy to be on the pitch, to enjoying it and winning games, yeah.
Dom asked the same question, actually, but then he added, do you prefer Saturday, Tuesday, or one game a week?
Again, honestly, if we're winning... No, well, actually, even if we're losing, like, if you lose on a Saturday... So for me, personally, like the Barnsley one, I'd have rather had the game Tuesday, even though we just had Tuesday games. Because, like, say in that instance you concede so late, you want to just play again and get the game out of the way.
Yeah.
So for me, I think I don't mind training. I'm not the biggest fan of training, so I would rather just play. So probably Saturday, Tuesday.
I feel like most players say that, don't
yeah,
they?
Exactly.
They'd rather play than train.
Yeah, exactly.
Benjamin from Germany said, who is the toughest opponent you've ever played against and why?
Ever played against? I would say we played Tottenham while I was here. We've also played Man City, but I didn't play that game. But I'd say we played Tottenham in the Cup, and Kane and Son and Mora, like their front three were just like, I don't think it was until you play against these kinds of players you realise the levels. Like you think you're doing okay, and then you play against them, you realise you're miles away from that level. But I think Heung-min Son came on and tore it up for 20 minutes, so I'll probably give it to him. Plus he seems like one of the nicest people in football, so I'll give it to him.
So you probably wish that you were training that day then?
Well, exactly, yeah. The games, but I'd rather have been at home that day, I think, yeah, for sure.
Benjamin and Nothing But Tea asked, who was your childhood football hero?
My childhood football hero? I think I grew up, obviously, I grew up an Aberdeen fan, so I would say it was... Neil Simpson was actually my youth coach, and it was like, so for me at the time it was a big thing that he was my youth coach coaching me, so I'll give it to Simo. He was
lovely.
Yeah, really nice guy as well, really good guy.
Gosh. Dean said, what's your favourite thing to do on a day off?
Is it I think it was more a COVID thing, just to go a walk. I think it was.
I love going on
it's definitely something that's changed since COVID. I never used to enjoy walks, and now really enjoy a walk round. I live next to Hampstead Heath, going a walk, chilling out, getting a coffee is probably normally what I do on my days off.
Nice, that sounds like a lovely day off.
It is normally quite chilled, and
we had this question for Jasper last week, and now we've got it again for you.
Yeah.
Would you rather fight a bear-sized duck or 10 duck-sized bears?
See, I've seen his I'm sure he said the opposite. I think I agree with you in the sense that I would rather fight, was it 10 duck-sized bears?
Yeah.
Because especially Jasper. He's a dwarf fighting a bear,
a massive
duck-sized
duck.
Yeah, exactly. I would pick the 10 duck-sized bears.
Small little puppies.
Well, exactly.
Have a little cuddle.
I'd rather that than, like you said, the beak was going to be huge.
I know. How do you fight? How do you even go about that?
Especially to someone like Jasper. No offence, Jas, but I think I was surprised you went for that answer. I'm not going to lie.
Okay, moving on. Joel Heritage said, "When's the collaboration with Chairgirl Sally Grimm happening?"
I know. I've seen that on Twitter, and I didn't realise until they tagged me in something. She's definitely, as long as there's a collab not involved scoring goals, because I think she'll definitely beat me at that.
Sally.
But it is something I don't live. So I live in North London, and it is something that I've been thinking about trying to do, is get over to a game to support my namesake, especially more than anyone else. But yeah, definitely, I think we can get her to the training ground and get something going. So that would be.
It's got to be done.
It's got to be done. It's got to be done.
Is Iron Brew the same since they messed with the recipe? That one's from Kyle.
No, it's ridiculous. Take all the sugar out. Like, who wants that?
I don't know that I've tried Iron Brew before. Oh no. Joke, I had it for breakfast this morning.
Right, I'll bring you a bottle of Iron Brew in the next one. But it's definitely, I think there is some places in Scotland that have they joke and say they have the old recipe.
Right, it's not.
But it's not the same, no. What
does it taste like? You can't describe it.
No, I'm going to have to get you, because it doesn't really... It's like a... No, I'm going to have to get you the bottle and just let you taste it. You've never tried it?
I don't think so. I can't remember ever trying it, no.
No, you would remember this golden nectar if you tried it, trust me. No,
I'm not the only one. Other people have not tried Iron Brew.
I bet you haven't tried haggis either, have you?
No, we had this discussion, though, on the way here.
Right, well, it's fine.
Haggis and Iron Brew next week. We'll try it.
The Scottish delicacies.
He was not impressed.
Because you just assume, don't you, I suppose, if you're from countries so close to Scotland, that people down here have enjoyed drinks and food that are common there.
Yeah, I've always looked at Iron Brew and just went, no, I'd rather something else. Sorry, Cat, if you're listening, I will try it next week though, I promise.
It sounds like we're going to have to.
Well, we will do, yeah.
That's happening.
The full version will be up on the Chairboys social media tomorrow.
Because there's some visual elements.
Yeah, so Jack walks off at that point. There is a Nick Freeman test card for people of a certain age remembering test cards. There are ducks, there are bears, there is Jack Grimmer scoring a goal, some Wycombe Wanderers women footage, and a Scottish flag.
The bear and duck thing is really taking off, isn't it?
It really is. Well done to Dan Clark on Twitter for that.
It's like an exam question, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Bears versus ducks, discuss.
You could do a classified thing at the end.
I look forward to that. 25-mark question. Would you prefer duck-sized bears or bear-sized ducks?
And why? Explain.
Yeah. There's some great merchandising opportunities there as well, I think.
Yeah, I think we should get a Wycombe Wanderers shirt that says Team Ducks or Team Bears.
Yeah. Or just an ordinary T-shirt with like a duck on one side and a bear on the other.
No, which one do you pick?
Wine
or cheese?
It could be reversible.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Cheese does feature as well, doesn't it?
It does, yes. Cheese is on there after there were some angry cheese people on Twitter. That's not where I was going with that. There was no cheese question, but there is cheese this week.
Cheese is featured.
He made a good point.
Look out for that. That'll be on Wycombe Wanderers social media from tomorrow.
Yes.
The full version.
In
behind-the-scenes news.
Yeah.
Final element of the Wycombe Wanderers show is our chat with the manager, Matt Bloomfield. And as mentioned, at the training ground, he was ambushed, surprised by... he gets presented with all sorts when we turn up. Brownies the other week, and this week, a lifetime membership, which includes a certificate and a tie as well.
And a £20 discount.
Absolutely. From the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association, something which he was very grateful for.
Yeah, amazing surprise. I was I've been really flattered by some of the gifts I've been given by people associated with the club over the previous
Brownies
time.
Last week.
Yeah, brownies were particularly high on the agenda and what I was appreciative of. They didn't last very long in the coach's office, by the way. I'm really touched. I knew this was a special football club. I know it is, and the people that are attached here make it as such. So to receive that from the Ex-Players Association was a lovely surprise, and I'm really, really grateful.
and really inspirational as well for perhaps young players who are just starting out and think, I wonder how long I'll be at a club.
Yeah, I think one of the things that gets associated with football and footballers and people associated in the game is that lack of loyalty and people moving around too often. It's probably a little bit rich coming from me, who's just moved clubs twice in the last 5 months, but I think there's a place for loyalty. I feel like when a club does well by you try and replicate, but the game takes you on a little journey, but it's nice when you've been in one place for so long that's recognised.
And extra special for you, I guess, to be at the helm at a special club.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's an amazing place here, and I really appreciate it before, and I'm certainly appreciative to be back. Being manager of this football club is a dream and an ambition I've held for a number of years, and I'm extremely grateful to be here. Having said that, I'm extremely driven as well to achieve. It's not just about what's been and gone. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm here to do a job, and I don't leave any stone unturned. I work every hour it takes to try and bring success here, because I know what it means to the people associated with this club, and I know what it would mean to me and my staff to keep moving forward.
And still such an exciting time to have taken over and been in charge as well, just outside the playoffs.
Yeah, most certainly so. It's an incredible group of men in that changing room who I respect extremely high. I think the way we've worked together over this last month has been really good. Coming from Colchester, I walked back through the door and you've got a different relationship, but they've been great. The supporters are really excited, I hope, by what's to come between now and the end of the season, and we're doing our utmost to achieve what everyone wants us to achieve. So we'll keep working as hard as we possibly can. We'll keep working as diligently as we possibly can to try and make as many people proud as possible.
And this week, I guess, not too much in terms of disappointment to get over after the Barnsley result.
No, it was a tough result to take, I'll be honest, because I was extremely pleased with a lot of the performance levels of what we gave. So it was a tough one, but I watched it back, Saturday night and again Sunday. It was just trying to watch it with unemotional eyes to really analyse exactly what we're doing in our performance levels. We were presented that to the players Monday morning, first thing, get it out of the system, good bits, learning bits, how we're going to keep moving forward, and we've had a good week on the grass, so we hope that continual improvement is what we aim for, and results is obviously hopefully a byproduct of that, and we hope to put both hand in hand.
And the group affected by illness as well, is everyone a lot better now?
Yeah, everyone's a lot better now. We had to close the building down last Thursday after Bristol Rovers because of that many people affected by illness, and coming at the end of the long run of games like we did, maybe their immune levels were low, but I don't think we can attribute the performance against Barnsley to any of that, because we were pleased with a lot that we did. So yeah, illness is clearing up, and we've had a good week, and we're energised and enthused by the game on Saturday and what's to come.
We heard from Jack earlier, one of his questions that he was asked is, do players prefer the Saturday, Tuesday or more of a week's break? And he was saying, they like to play more games, but I guess as a coach it's perhaps slightly different.
Yeah, I think when I was playing, I loved the Saturday, Tuesdays. I think as a player you just want to play as many games as possible. As a coach that's slightly different, because the hours of prep and debrief that goes into each and every game, but it's nice to mix it up. Some weeks, it is nice to bounce from game to game, but other weeks it's good to take a breather slightly and analyse the overall picture as well as what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. So we love being involved in the game. I think everyone here shows that willingness to work on a day-to-day basis, and that's what we're really pleased about.
And Charlton, obviously a team not too far away in the table, but a few points back, but have had a real resurgence themselves recently.
They have, yeah. They've had a few good results. Dean Holden's doing a really good job there. We know they've got some good players. 2 good results in the last 2 games, so we know they're a good team, and we know the threats they're going to pose. They've got some pace up front. They pass the ball really well, so we're obviously trying to make our plans against that, but also being enthused and excited about what we've been doing. We've been pleased with a lot of what we've done over the last couple of weeks, but we want to make sure we A, continue that, B, improve it, and C, marry it up with results.
And it's a really good feeling amongst the group at the moment, because we're sort of heading in towards this period of the season where obviously every game counts.
Yeah, of course. This is the best part of the season, isn't it? This is the part that every year when you go into pre-season, you hope you've got something to play for at the end of it, at the right end of the table. That's why we all live our lives, on this roller coaster of professional football, that we love getting to this part of the year, and being involved at this point is great. So now it's a really good noise levels around the training ground. I think really good energy levels. The boys are buoyant. They're really enthused by the work they're doing at the moment, and we look to take that into the games.
Pleasure to speak to the manager, and wish the team obviously all the best for the game against Charlton on Saturday, which if you're not going to the Valley, and many are, you'll be able to hear it live on Wanderers TV and on 106.6 FM as well. Big thank you to everyone who's helped put the show together and contributed this week, especially to you.
You're welcome.
Same time next week, we'll be here. Hope you can join us for that as well. Have a great week.
Peace.